Have you ever had one of those mornings? You know the kind. The alarm doesn't go off. You stub your toe on the way to the bathroom, and the coffee machine decides today is the day it quits. Well, let me tell you about a morning that didn't just go wrong. It spiraled into a citywide manhunt, a case of mistaken identity, and a showdown with a surprisingly well-organized flock of pigeons. It was a Tuesday. I remember waking up not to my gentle alarm, but to the frantic sound of car horns from the street below. A quick glance at my phone confirmed my worst fear. I was an hour late. An hour late for the most important presentation of my career. I threw on the first clothes I could find, a wrinkled suit jacket, plaid pajama bottoms, and 2 different colored socks. Not my finest hour, but there was no time for fashion. As I bolted out the door, juggling my laptop, a half-eaten piece of toast, and my dignity, I nearly collided with Mrs. Higgins from apartment 3B. She was holding her prized poodle, Sir Reginald Fluffington III, who took one look at my chaotic state and yelped as if he'd seen a ghost. I mumbled a frantic apology and sprinted for the elevator, only to find an out-of-order sign slapped across the doors. Of course, the stairs it was. Gasping for breath 5 flights later, I burst out onto the street. The air was thick with tension. People were pointing and whispering. I figured it was just another weird city morning until I saw my face plastered on a newsstand screen. The headline read, "Pantless Bandit Strikes Again." And below it, a grainy security camera photo of someone who looked suspiciously like me, running away from a bakery with a string of sausages. The only difference? This guy was also wearing plaid pajama bottoms. My blood ran cold. This couldn't be happening. Before I could process it, a police car screeched to a halt beside me. 2 officers jumped out. "Freeze! Put the toast down!" One of them yelled. The toast? Really? I was so flustered I dropped my laptop instead. It clattered to the pavement with a sickening crunch. My presentation, my career, my entire digital life, gone. "There's been a mistake," I stammered, trying to explain. "I'm not the pantless bandit. I'm just incredibly late and poorly dressed." They weren't buying it. As they approached, a shadow fell over us. I looked up. It was a massive flock of pigeons, circling ominously. Suddenly, they dived. Not at me, but at the officers, dive-bombing them with uncanny precision. It was chaos. A feathered distraction. In the confusion, someone grabbed my arm. It was a woman in a trench coat and sunglasses, even though it was cloudy. "You need to come with me if you want to clear your name," she said, her voice low and urgent. "They call me the Pigeon Whisperer." I stared at her, then at the birds who were now systematically trying to steal the shiny buttons off the officers' uniforms, and I thought, well, my day can't possibly get any weirder. I was wrong. So wrong. She dragged me into a nearby alleyway. "The real pantless bandit is my twin brother, Bartholomew," she explained, pulling down her sunglasses. She had the same eyes as the man on the news. "He has a bizarre obsession with breakfast meats and an unfortunate sense of fashion. I've been trying to stop him for months." She pointed to a fire escape. "He's up there. We need to catch him before he strikes again." What followed was a chase scene straight out of a bizarre action movie. We scrambled up fire escapes, ran across rooftops, and dodged clotheslines. Bartholomew, it turned out, was surprisingly agile for a man whose diet apparently consisted of stolen sausages. He'd leap from one building to another, a string of bacon now trailing behind him like a cape. The pigeons, under the command of my new mysterious friend, flew in perfect formation, trying to block his path. We finally cornered him on the roof of the old clock tower. He was cornered, with nowhere to go. "It's over, Bartholomew," his sister yelled. "The brunch time terror ends today." He just laughed, holding up a stolen croissant. "You'll never take me alive. My breakfast rebellion has just begun." At that moment, the clock tower struck 9. The giant bell chimed, vibrating through the entire structure. The sudden noise startled Bartholomew. He lost his footing on a pile of loose tiles, and with a final, dramatic yell, he slid off the roof. For a heart-stopping second, I thought it was over. But then, in a move I will never understand, the pigeons swooped in. They formed a sort of living, flapping cushion and caught him, gently lowering him down to the street below, right into the waiting arms of the now very confused police officers. They looked from the sausage-covered man to the flock of pigeons, to me, still in my mismatched socks, and just shook their heads. With the real bandit caught, my name was cleared. My laptop was beyond repair, and I obviously missed my presentation. My boss was not pleased. But as I walked home that afternoon, Mrs. Higgins saw me. She gave me a slow, respectful nod. Sir Reginald Fluffington III even gave a little bark that sounded suspiciously like a cheer. I had lost my job, but I had gained the respect of a poodle and witnessed a pigeon-led citizen's arrest. The next morning, I woke up to my alarm. The sun was shining. I put on a matching pair of socks, and as I went to make coffee, I saw a single perfect croissant sitting on my windowsill, a gift, I assumed, from my new feathered friends. And I realized that sometimes, the morning that starts all the trouble is the one that leads to the most incredible story. So, what's the wildest morning you've ever had? Let me know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this little tale of chaos, make sure to like and subscribe for more stories that are just a little bit stranger than fiction. Thanks for watching.